Coming to you live from the bowels of the Mayflower 2 in Plymouth Harbor, the Greg Simoneau Show. Hi, must be low tide, right? Thanks to the local scene for having me, and thanks to Dan in the booth. All right, let's get it. I'm a little worried that the window's closing for my professional wrestling career, you know? I never grew out those 24-inch pythons. I started on steroids, but then they told me, you have to work out for them to take effect. And I don't know how I feel about that. Do I have to really work out to play fight? I don't know. I feel like when you get interviewed, your opening interview with WWE, they're like, "Are you on the juice?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I take steroids." And they'd be like, "No, we mean actual juice. We're looking for a corporate tie-in with Dole's or Ocean Spray." Yeah. I guess Welch is my juice. And I don't think if I don't make it, I won't be able to smack hands going down the runway with the fans, because I know everyone wants to have that no-name wrestler smack their hand. When I go down the runway, people will be like, "Oh no, we're good, Nah, I'm gonna pass." And I'm gonna pass on that. I'll get to the ring and I'll be like, sorry if I missed anyone. Booked right out of Plymouth, Massachusetts. But you just want the fans to go home happy, you know what I mean? So they can try out all the moves they saw. And they tell them not to do those moves at home, but they do. I know. I do. I'm afraid the window's closing for me on wearing a fancy robe out to the ring. Something with my name on the back. So I practice at home. I wear a bathrobe around the house, monogrammed. I get that. I get why that's nice. And I feel like WWE was like, okay, well, how do you take off the robe? How do you derobe? And I'd be like, it's not great for the customer. We're revealing a lot of hair and chub down here. I don't know. It's not what they want. And then I don't think I'll ever get the chance to be in the ring and give someone the sleeper hold, And I wouldn't really try to give them the sleeper hold. I would just try to talk them to sleep. You're getting sleepy. And can you imagine if that was your job and your coworker is trying to give you the sleeper hold and you're fighting it? It's like, yeah, I'm ready for a nap. Go ahead. Who am I facing tonight? Who has a sleeper hold in their repertoire? I could use a good 8 hours sleep. Yeah, like if someone tried to give me the sleeper hold at work, I'd be like, yeah, fine, sure. Go ahead, tuck me in. I'm done. I'm good. Sleeper hold at work. I think I am on steroids, though. I have all the signs of it. Hair thinning, balls shrinking, and I have a closet full of tearaway T-shirts, just waiting to be ripped. Imagine going into work and being like, all right, let's finish that spreadsheet. Let's go. Or, all right, let's start this open heart surgery. I'm going to need another shirt. It's pretty unprofessional to do it bare-chested. I checked my weight. I was at one of those GNC stores, and you pay 50 cents, and they check your weight, and it prints out, and it said I was 30 pounds overweight. Yeah, and that was 30 pounds ago. So, yeah, I'm like 60 pounds now. So somewhere I'm carrying a 7-year-old me around who loves 80s wrestling. So I physically have 7-year-old me, and I mentally have 7-year-old me at all times. So that's good. I I feel like when the WWE, when I had abs, they wanted bulk. And now that I have bulk, I feel like they want abs again. So I guess I could reveal to them that I have IBS, but I can't reveal ABS, abs. I don't have it. And hopefully my IBS holds up so I make it through a whole match without shitting. You know what I mean? Oh, thanks. Thanks. I'm glad we could all fit here down in the bowels of Mayflower too. Actually, I'm getting a little seasick here. A couple of you have to leave because of the weight limit, I think. So, sorry. All right. I'm still waiting on that online submission for WWE. They haven't answered it yet. But in their defense, I gave them a fake email. Well, an email I don't really usually check. But if they really want to reach me, they can just cross-reference that with my WWE Shop Online email, because I didn't give them a fake one for that, because I want the coupons. 25% off all title belts tonight. Tonight only. Ends at midnight. Yeah, sorry, kids. We're not going to be able to eat this month, but Dad got his championship belt. Yeah! Right? Money well spent. I still want those coupons. Oh. But on Saturday morning, wrestling came on at 11, but from 6 a.m. to 11, it was cartoon time. The only time we could watch cartoons. And I know now people get to watch cartoons whenever they want. It's cartoons on demand, yada, yada. But back in the day when I was in kindergarten, my job was to color 1 page a week, you know? Maybe 1 page a day, but 1 page a week. And then Saturday morning, I would sit down and watch someone who had colored 1,000 pages at once and just ran it through and added music and comedy. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm never going to be that good. And then do you remember the cartoon that they colored out of the lines? It was kind of scribbly. It was kind of artsy. Yeah, that just screwed with my emotions. Like, how are they going to get a good grade on that? Oh, thanks. Now my work week, I barely get any coloring done, you know? Sometimes I just doodle while someone's talking to me, you know what I mean? And my go-to doodle is that swirl that you see on the top of the Hostess cupcake. And then, I'll look at that and all of a sudden I'll turn into Jennifer Coolidge at the meeting and I'll just tell the speaker, you make me want a cupcake real bad. You would have no idea what I mean. But. So now I'm a little older, thank you. Now I'm a little older now. I've gone from cartoons to Bravo, right? Because I like to see people yell at each other. Because during the week, I barely get to yell at one person. And if I do, I yell at them silently in my head. Because we're really not supposed to yell at people at work. So I live vicariously through Bravo. And they also yell at each other. And sometimes they get to point fingers and say, you're dirty, you're dirty. And I just sit back like, yeah, I couldn't do that this week. I wanted to, a bunch of times. Yeah, but they scare me. You know who else scares me is my neighbors. Yeah. We have a shared driveway, and I try to duck them any chance I can, I don't want to talk to them. I don't know why. I'm just being crazy. But the one thing I can't duck is their lawn. It sits right next to mine, and I could be a dick and just mow my lawn and leave that tall grass in the middle, like a line, like they're at 8 inches, I'm at 4 inches. But no, I'm nice, I mow their half too. And get rid of the leaves and fertilize. And maybe in the fall, a little reseeding. But that's it. That's where I draw the line, And I went up there, and I couldn't do their backyard, because it's all fenced in. I knocked on the door. They didn't answer. And So after a few weeks of neglect, I looked from over the fence. I could see their lawn growing up. Their lawn had grown trees in the backyard. I thought this took 10,000 years to happen. Apparently, you can grow trees in your backyard if you don't mow the lawn. Just one summer of neglect. That's all it takes. One cruel, cruel summer. And the wind had blown their patio furniture into the lawn, right? And the trees, you know how like a tree likes to grow around something? I feel like this tree said, you know what, I'm going to grow my trunk out and sit my fat ass right in this patio furniture. And that's what it did. Talk about junk in the trunk. Thanks. Thanks. I'm always afraid that making too much noise on my side of the yard, you know. And once in a while, my wife will get the report back, and she said, "Are we being too loud?" And they're like, "No, we barely know you're there." So I guess I'm not being loud enough. My parties aren't as good. I got to turn that shit up. And the woman over there, she said, maybe Greg can come over and watch the game with us one time. Sure. Greg will come over, watch the game. Yeah. Sounds like a good time. We lived there 12 years, and I think I watched 0 games over there. Yeah, not once. And they don't know what they're missing. I watch the hell out of stuff. I remember I got kicked out of High Lie for yelling too much. I remember the speaker at the garden told us no cheering during the serve at volleyball one time. I'll score a game. I have a storage bin of scorebooks in the basement. I'll score the Red Sox. I'll score the Mets. I'll keep score of the commercials. I don't even care. I'll always be like this. Man, I don't agree with Flo in that one right there. No, I don't like that. I don't agree with that. And sometimes I'll be like, oh man, Jan from Toyotathon's really killing it tonight, huh? He's really killing it. And if you're watching the big game with me, there's a good chance I made a piñata to go along with it. So I'm the sports guy. They don't just missed out. Never connected. And I don't want to push it either with the neighbors. So don't invite. You don't have to invite me. Don't worry about it. But the other day I was feeling kind of sweaty after mowing their lawn, and I could smell my shampoo. You ever get that? So, like, am I clean? Am I dirty? Or do I wash my hair too much? I don't know, right? I was at this, I remember this, I was at this birthday party when I was a kid, and a bee stung me in the back of the head because I had that shampoo that kind of smells like flowers. And at first I was mad, and then I was kind of flattered, He wanted to pollinate the back of my head. Okay. Lucky thing I didn't start growing a flower right back there, you know what I mean? That would be kind of weird, right? And then I was wondering, like, it's my nape, it's my rules, bee, okay? And then I was wondering, do beekeepers shower with their bees? Just get them all on, get on me, just shower. And that's not funny because soap is probably poison to bees. I don't know. I'd like a good collection of clean bees, I think. I think if I was a bee, I would, maybe not wash the black stripes, but try to keep that yellow stripe pretty clean. You know what I mean? It's all about the yellow stripe. I don't know. But the shampoo, yeah, it goes on the head, but it also goes everywhere else. This is all hair from here down. It's all hair. You know what I mean? Poor shampoo, and because it's all hair, the blow dryer gets its chance too. It's getting blown dry. You know what I mean? I find like sometimes I'm blow drying, and sometimes I get in certain spots, and it just kind of stops on its own. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. What's going on? And I imagine when I'm not in the shower, the shampoo and the hairdryer talk. You know what I mean? The hairdryer's probably like, oh, yeah, I just had to turn myself off right there. You just should have seen what last week what he tried to get me to blow. The hairdryer. The hairdryer's like, I'm a pink hairdryer for Christ's sakes. You know what I mean? I was promised a female body. My emblem is the flower power from a hippie's bumper sticker. Doesn't this guy get it? And I would fight the hairdryer on that one. No, hippies share everything, okay? It's puff, puff, puff some more hairdryer. And there's one little part I like at the end of the shower. You turn off the shower and you go from shower back to tub and you get that little extra runoff. That's when I use it just to get the toes wet. You know what I mean? I go with this one, and then I know it's gonna run out soon, and then I quickly get that one, just to get that little rinse. I like to conserve that. And then do hippies take showers? I'm not even sure. I'm not a big shampoo, hairdryer, and demographic there, I think. How we doing in the Mayflower 2, huh? You guys stand in the smell? Thanks for coming out. Well, the other day I ran into my brother's mother-in-law. Yeah, she's okay, you know what I mean? And I said to her, how you doing? And she gave me one of these. And I was like, oh, how do you respond to that? The little guy in my head was like, escape hatch. Boo, chip, bye. So I was left. I did one of these. And I tried to turn away from that conversation. This is the same lady that she used to call the pound on us when we were kids, you know what I mean? But things were different back then. We had a phone, and I like to imagine that the phone had a pound button on there. You know that button that looks like someone started to play tic-tac-toe on it? I figure like I'd see that button at payphones, and I'd be like, oh, good, it's my turn. Yep. And if someone had already played tic-tac-toe on the pound button on a payphone back in the day, we would just etch a new tic-tac-toe right next to it and start again. It was like tic-tac-toe with friends. Whenever you went to the payphone, you do a move and then come back later, check how it's coming about. So she hits the pound button. I imagine the pound answers something like this. Yep, it's the pound. What do you got? Man, woman, or beast? And she'd be like, well, I got a 10-year-old boy here barking and hissing at me. Close enough, we'll be right there. And then she's so proud of herself, she has to come outside and be like, I called the pound's coming. I called the pound, you better get out of here. And we're 80s kids, you know what I mean? We specialize in running from unmarked vans. Rest in peace to the guys that didn't make it. I didn't say we were undefeated against unmarked vans. It's just we knew to run from them, you know what I mean? And we were also altar boys and Elks kids. We can take the pound, are you kidding me? We used to wear robes with rope tied on it. And the priest used to try to grab it like it was a game of flag football. Hey, oh, hey, got him, gotcha. No, that's terrible. And as Elks kids, we had a high diet of pork sandwiches, you know what I mean? We had high cholesterol as little kids. We're tough. So go ahead, bring me down to the pound, right? I'll spend a whole day hanging out with cats and dogs. I'll get my cuddle on, you know what I mean? I'll be like, oh, hey, what are you in for? Hey, what'd you do, huh? What are you in for? What did you do? What did you do? You know what I mean? And I'd be like, here, put this bow on, Chia. You're getting out of here. We're going to talk to somebody. By the time I'm done, you'll be eating out of the jury's hands. You know? So the other day, a friend of mine, she told me that her granddaughter texted her to DoorDash her McDonald's. Yeah, things have changed. when I was a kid, if you wanted McDonald's, you had to actually be with grandma to get McDonald's, okay? If they told me there was a device back then that looked like a calculator that I could pick up and hit a button and get McDonald's, I'd be like that dog online. McDonald's, 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 McDonald's. No, bitch. I don't know how I feel about a stranger bringing me cold McDonald's, you know? It's like the second worst Yankee swap gift I ever got. You know what I mean? The first worst was a hand-carved swan signed by the artist, but that's another story. I think I'd have a lot of questions like, how many of my fries did you eat, Todd, huh? Why are there no bag fries at the bottom of the bag? You see, you're telling me they landed a large fry straight up? It's like 1 in a million shot. I'm not buying it. Usually it's it's just a pecking on the surface. What happened to the fries? They're all over the bag. That was a 1 in a million shot, kid. 1 in a million. Thanks. But they do have Star Wars toys in the Happy Meals from time to time. Star Wars and Marvel Universe. And that's what gets me in trouble. People will come up to me like, Greg, did you get all 6 toys? No, I got all 60 toys. There was 10 waves. You missed out. I'm not one of these guys that goes in there and one of these people that are like, what toys do you have today? Oh, Jar Jar again? Okay. No, I'm not picky. Back in the day, we had high school. We had 2 practices a day. We call them 2-a-days. Well, now I get 2 Happy Meals a day. That's my 2-a-day right now. 2 Happy Meals. I get home, I get 2 Jar Jars. Okay, whatever. They go on the shelf. But I collected it. I got the whole set. Don't worry about me. That's my wife's job. She's heard about the documentary Supersize. I don't think anyone's watched it, but she knows about it. And I'll tell her, no, you know what? I'm trading. I'm trading for apple slices. You know what I mean? I'm trading out the apple slices. I ate apple slices from McDonald's for a whole month. It shows, right? You know. And then I'd also trade out the soda for milk. And then that milk would go in the fridge, and then when it expired, that would go right in the trash. And it's very healthy. Very healthy of me. I just wanted to say that thanks for coming out to the Mayflower 2 here. And all the proceeds tonight are going to the Gerbil Foundation. That's for it's for chewed up gerbils. The money's going to find out who's chewing all these gerbils up. We don't know. It's a problem in Plymouth. It's a local problem. That's for the foundation. And I know that your entertainment dollars, you know, you can go see an unnamed comedian for $30. You can see a comedian whose name you know for $100, or you can go to a concert for $500. So glad you came down to the Mayflower 2. And, you know, it equaled out to about $30 a laugh. So that was good for you. All right, Plymouth. You can catch me in the upcoming film Death Dash. The McDonald's is cold, and so are the bodies. The delivery man, played by Kingston's own Chris Cooper. My nice neighbor is played by Timothy Chalamet and Florence Pugh. And I am going to be the zany bar patron in the back. So look for me, and we'll catch you next time. All right. So I was driving around the neighborhood the other day, and I saw someone who had their patio furniture out in the driveway. It was on tarps. It had a nice new coat of black paint on it, right? And I was like, yeah, I've been there. There's 3 stages of life. There's cheap patio furniture, there's expensive patio furniture, and then there's Pollywood. And that's where I am right now. But I've been there. We can get another year out of this. Shh, shh, shh. Oh, don't sit on it. It's wet. Oh, it was? It was wet? Oh, sorry. I didn't know it was wet. And they say no runs, no drips, no errors, but there's always a couple runs and drips. Trying to get a little more out of that patio furniture. And if you go with white patio furniture, you know what I mean? You always get this haze around the tarp where like the spray ran off. And then your wife's like, "Oh, what's that?" Like, "Oh, well, I painted you a parking spot." So there you go. You have your own parking spot. There's also 3 stages of life. There's the charcoal grill, there's the $100 grill, and then there's the Weber. And then you can even go beyond that, but for comedy purposes, we'll stop at the Weber. And I used to do a charcoal grill. It was like this. Then I had the $100 grill, and that could last you a couple years if you take care of it. But then the Weber, I've had that for. My grandfather had one for 14 years. And I know when these you hear about Drew McIntyre and Becky Lynch, they're from overseas wrestling, that they miss the family, you know? And I think that wouldn't be a problem for me. I think if I was wrestling and I got a call from overseas, Grampy passed away. And I'd be like, "Oh, that's sad. He was old. Did he see my last match at least? Yeah, what did you guys think? Was it a good sleeper hold?" Yeah, knocked Grampy right out for good. So for $30, I think you should at least get, a little air guitar. You know what I mean? Something, the band Cream. I was watching their YouTube video, and
The Albert Hall is the spiritual home of many of London's finest symphony orchestras, particularly of world-famous promenade concerts. Tonight, it is host to one of England's finest rock groups, the Cream. Cream have played together for only 2 years, but during that time have almost single-handedly...
Jack Bruce, Eric Clapton, and Ginger Baker. So I'll be like, da-na-na-na, da-da-da-da-da-da. You gotta get your $30 worth, right? Da-na-na-na-da-da-da-da-da. So if the Cream is an underrated name for a band. Think about this: you go to a coffee shop and I give you a black coffee, and it's like, "No, I wanted cream in that." "Oh, you wanted cream in that? Here you go." There you go. There's your cream right there. And if you go to a birthday party, who wants ice cream? Who wants ice cream? Oh, yeah. You bring out a poster that's frozen in a block of ice. Here it is. It's a poster of the band Cream in a block of ice. Here's your ice cream right there. Eric Clapton's giving me the cold shoulder. I don't know about that.